My name is Jessie. I'm over here on the side, and I am this year a 20% ILE teacher on special assignment. I was full-time ILE a few years ago, and then just last year I made a return to the classroom, and I'm teaching high school bio and chemistry at Arlington. But I'm kind of new old to ILE, so I see some familiar names and I see some names I've not seen before, so welcome. And while I am a teacher, this session is not geared for teachers. This is geared for kind of using Kami just professionally. So here again, if you wanted to play, here's what it looks like when you click on it. And we'll kind of go through and we'll look at the tools and toolbar and how to use all this stuff here in just a little bit. But if you would like, it's just a chance for you to kind of explore. And this session has a lot of explore time built in. Okay, we're going to start with kind of some standard slides that if you've been to an ILE training before, these should look familiar to you. So right now, this is focusing on kind of foundational digital tools. The session is very much how to use the tool. It is less like lesson planning and critical thinking and things like that. And then on our ISTE for educator section, we're really focusing in on learning. For some of you, this might be your first adventure with Kami. Some of you might just be looking for some updates. So today we're kind of just getting the gist of how the tool works. And then in terms of our big four and our big three, really in this session, I should have a lot of not teachers. So we're going to be kind of in this outer circle over here, preparing and then really like supporting. So we're going to look at Kami mostly as a PDF editing tool, not so much as an in-class, how could I use it with students? If you are interested, you are welcome to reach out and let me know that, hey, I really want to know how do I use this with my students? And I can do a session a little bit later in the school year, really geared for teachers. But this one is a little broader, and it's kind of generally, how do I use Kami? So I'm hoping that we get to three things today. You learn how to get into Kami and look through some of their pre-built resources because they have really built out their library. You get a chance to explore Kami tools and click and play and ask questions, and then you learn how to edit a PDF. This is definitely my favorite piece of Kami. I don't use it with students very often. I really use it as an online PDF editor. So with that, why does the district use this thing? So it is beautiful. It works with any document, really. You can do images, you can do PDFs, you can actually upload straight from Google Drive. So I opened a doc earlier, you can open slides. It works beautifully with Classroom. And then if you're using it with students, it's really awesome for collaboration, especially for those quieter students that really don't feel comfortable speaking up in class. So you can read some more if you're interested, but Kami is pretty awesome. And when you're looking at how to access Kami, there's a few different ways. So you can install Kami for Google Chrome, and this will take you out to the Chrome store if you need to install it. Or you can also click on this little puzzle piece right here, because this should be one of the pre-installed from the district. And if you see, it's kind of the purplish blue with the little K, that is Kami for Chrome. And if you pin it, what it does is it stays right here on your toolbar section. So you can click the puzzle piece, and you can go down here, and you can pin that extension. If that doesn't work for you or you can't find it for whatever reason, you can go to kamiapp.com and you can launch it that way. And then you'll just log in, and then let's see if it prompts me. I'm logged in on many other tabs. If it gives you the option, you'll log in with Google. Mine probably is already logged in. Oh yeah, I'm already logged in up here. So if it gives you the option, you'll log in with Google. And then the third way to access is if you are in a Google Doc or slides, you'll notice there is this Kami button right here. If you click this, it'll open this Google Doc right into a Kami document. So in terms of accessing Kami, there's a few different ways. You can use the extension where you just click on the K and it opens. You can actually go kamiapp.com. So like my husband is very anti-Chrome at home. So I always go kamiapp.com because we're not using Chrome. Or if you're in a document and you want to open it in Kami, you can just click on this little Kami button right from Google Docs. Over here, this is something I already kind of showed you guys in real time, but if you need to come back and access it, this little pin just anchors it up here to the top so that it's always kind of right there ready to go. And then here's the button I was referring to. If you're going to use the web app like kamiapp.com, you're going to want to make sure you log in with your Google credentials. And then we're going to jump in and just start looking at tools. So let me see if that decided to finish up. Okay. So I'm going to drop this into chat really quick. I apologize for the infinite screen. It's a little scary looking. Just in case that didn't work for anybody, there you go. So you might want to have open a document just so that you can see kind of what I'm looking at. But you can also see my screen if you wanted to go ahead and just follow along. This is being recorded, so you could always go back later and kind of play at a later date. So what you've got on the left-hand side is kind of your selection of tools. So if you're on the arrow, it's just allowing you to select different things. So this is a basic PDF. I didn't really add any annotations to it. If I'm on the hand, I can actually click and I can kind of drag around anything that I may have added. And this one is awesome. This is select annotations. So if I were to add an annotation, this allows me to copy and paste. So if I were to add, oops, I don't want to add a white square. That's very hard to see. If I were to add a black square and I decided, you know what, I want a whole bunch of those. Notice it allows me to highlight it. I can copy and then I can paste. And I can paste and I can paste and I can paste and I can paste. So now I'm able to duplicate a whole bunch of those shapes by using this select annotation. I can also go in and I can delete any of those that I've selected. So this select annotation is actually pretty cool. But this is kind of the standard, what it defaults to. Dictionary, if my document has been run through text recognition, which I'll get to later, I can actually pull up a dictionary and I can have it tell me what these words mean. And then I did see that in your settings, I believe there's a way to have this default into another language. It only has 4 or 5 at this point, but it will allow your students who are learning English or learning another language to kind of have that tool to help out. There is a read aloud feature. If your document has been run through that text recognition again, and you highlight a word and you click play, I imagine you cannot hear this because it's in my headphones, but it just read out loud to me the word orange. So if you have younger students who are learning to read, this would be a good piece. Or if you're trying to proofread a document, maybe you're going to send out to your staff, you're going to have it read out loud to you. Markup is one of the original tools from Kami. So this is things like highlighting. You can also strike through, underline. So text highlighter, it will do individual letters for me. And down here, I can change the color. Freehand is kind of more like drawing, so I can highlight wherever my cursor happens to be. And then boxing is I'm going to draw a nice little box around whatever it is I'm trying to highlight. Commenting is, again, one of those kind of original features. So I can do a text comment, which is how I did the instructions right here. And notice it has this little pink circle. That's what tells you, hey, there's a comment here. I can also do a voice comment. So if I click, it'll start recording my voice. Same thing with the video. If I click, it'll actually do a little video of me. So here I am. I'm doing my video comment. And now there's this little video of me leaving feedback. And then if I wanted to do a screen capture, what's really nice is I can actually go through and I can kind of walk people through, okay, well, right here, I wanted you to XYZ, and right here, I wanted you to XYZ. Instead of just trying to say, well, do you see where it says trick? Okay, well, do you see where it says treat? You can actually kind of point to it and do like a screencast right here from within Kami. Text box, if you wanted to add additional text that's not here, you would just click and you could say, here is my new text. And then notice when I'm in my text box up here, I have tons of options. So do I want to fill that box white where I could kind of edit what my document says? I can make it a little bigger so it kind of matches. I can change what font I want it to be in. I can change color, and I can change all these different things like you can in a document. This is usually what I end up using Kami for. I found some great activity from 5 years ago, and I don't have it anymore in an editable version. Let's be real, I don't have time, or I don't want to retype everything. I typically will do this. I'll put in a text box, a white one, and let's say I just don't want any of this. Uh-oh, now I lost it. I better do black first. I don't want any of this to show up. I just want this to be erased. I can go in and I can fill it white. And oh, where's my box? And now my stuff is gone. So a lot of times I'll do it this way, just to edit a PDF where I don't have to retype everything. For any math teachers out there, you do have this equation option, so you can add in a ton of symbols that you might not have access to normally. Drawing is kind of what it sounds like. So there's freehand where you can just kind of draw and scribble around, but there's also, for my math folks, there's a ruler that I can put in. There's a protractor, and then there's a compass. So I can adjust how big or small do I want this. Oops, it's helping if I draw in black. And I can actually go through and I can make my perfect circle. If I'm just in regular drawing, I'm freehanding. I can do shapes. So do I want to add a red circle? And then I can fill it. And then notice if I'm on triangle, see the yellow message down here? If I hold shift, it will draw a right triangle, and it'll actually give me my degrees. So if you're having students kind of show me a blah, blah triangle, you can have them put it in like this. If I'm like, oh, I messed up, I can actually go through and I can erase entire annotations at once. So notice it's erasing anything I kind of click over. If I wanted to just erase a little bit, I can kind of click and drag like a regular eraser. I can add media to a document. So I've seen this a lot of times as kind of a running agenda. So maybe for staff meetings or for students, maybe. You can add in videos and pictures in Google Drive files. You can add graphic organizers. You can add stickers, all kinds of things that you can just add to kind of enhance your document. And then the other reason I love Kami is I can sign things from anywhere digitally. So I always keep my signature handy. I say insert, and then I can make this bigger or smaller. I can rearrange it, move it around, and done. Now let's say you're like how I am today, mouse and keyboard, and it says draw signature, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to look terrible because I'm on a keyboard and a mouse. Like, this doesn't look like my signature. There is a draw signature on phone option. So it'll send it to your cell phone, and then you can sign with your finger, and then it will go back in here. The other thing I really like about this is, let's say you want a custom sticker for your student's work. I put in a signature, but bam, there's my custom sticker. So I know that was a lot. So we're just kind of in the explore section. I did want to show you, so we kind of went through toolbars and whatnot. I do want to backtrack, and I want to show you this homepage. So if you are in Kami, go ahead, log myself in. This is what you'll see on the home screen. Kami has some amazing, amazing resources that are already pre-built, ready to go. You don't have to do anything except click. So I invite you to browse templates, because this is the pre-done stuff that's already ready to go by Kami. But you can also open a file from your drive, open something from your computer, open from your Kami library. So it'll look through all the things you've done in Kami in the past. You can just start a new blank page. So this is really good if you wanted to do something like a whiteboard for your students or for your staff meeting or taking notes as a department, and you didn't want to have to erase it, you could save it as just a digital file and then share with everybody. And then for my teachers, there is a way to do Google Classroom assignments right here. This editing file we'll come back to in a bit, but I just wanted to show you this is kind of what's on your homepage. So as you start using Kami more, you'll see here's things that I've worked on recently. And then if you need help, here's some tutorials. But this is really what I wanted to show you guys is the templates. They add stuff constantly, and there's a ton of different things you can look at. So it gives you by subject, but I know a lot of us here are not teachers. So you can go through and you can just look at like, oh, you know what? I'm working in the wellness center. I need some kind of brain break activity for my kids, and my kids are high school. So I'm going to click, come on thing. I'm going to click here, and it should give me a little more age appropriate, hopefully. So like, here's a letter to myself. Here's a little bit of vision board, comic strip, digital games. So I invite you to kind of look around, explore. And with that, we'll get there in just a second. I wanted to just give you some time. So there are a few suggestions on here. Log into Kami, either via the Chrome extension or the app. Open from a Google Doc, look through the homepage, kind of look at your options, just kind of play. I'm going to watch chat. I'm going to start this timer. If you have any questions, pop a question in, unmute yourself. I would be happy to help kind of explain anything I can.
I do have a question. I don't know if you
Sure.
can
How
hear
can
me.
I help? Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Many times when I post an assignment in Google Classroom and then the students open it up and then I start typing on what I think it's my copy, then I save it and then sometimes I'll post it again, but then everything I typed is saved. Do I have to make my own copy when I'm presenting it because I'm teaching virtually, so when I'm presenting something to the students and I'm typing the answers, we're doing it together. Should it be my copy? It can't be that same copy that I sent them.
So I think that would depend on the way you have it shared. So the one thing I did not get to is if you're going to share it,
Mm-hmm.
do you have it shared where anyone with the link gets their own copy? As long as they get their own copy, they should not be seeing any of your edits. Now, as a good test,
Mm-hmm.
if you have this one open, this Halloween,
Okay.
you should not be able to see any of my edits if I'm not mistaken. Like all my signature and my RUSD sticker and my little video, that should not show up on yours. And the reason for that is I did anyone with the link would get an individual copy.
Okay, and where did you go for that? Where did you click?
Okay, so I clicked on, you see this share document, the little
Oh,
bubble?
yeah, yes.
Okay, so I clicked here, and then I
Okay.
did anyone with the link gets an individual copy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then if let's say you wanted to give the CER to your students, and I'm not sure who I'm talking to, but Maria, I see your
Yes.
templates. I will get there. If I'm going create assignment, because maybe this is the way you're assigning it, you should be able to make a copy for each student where they're not going to get all of your edits.
Okay, I think what I'm doing is it's a Google document.
Okay.
And then I'm posting the Google document, and then in class I'm opening it in Kami, and then they're doing the same thing, and then it seems like they're getting like my edits, but it was originally a Google document.
So like how this started as a Google Doc,
Yes, and then
and then
I'll
you,
post that, and then it'll prompt them to make a copy of that document, but then I'll open it up in Cami, and then I'll type, I'll type the answers, and then I noticed that for all the future students, if they open up that document in Cami, it's like my answers were recorded. Is that
even
possible?
though even though it's opened here in Cami, same document that I made here,
Mm-hmm.
but you do it in Cami. And are you doing it like this with a text box?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say the cell might shrink. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when a future student goes to look at this, even though it's already been assigned, they're already
Mm-hmm.
seeing the answer typed in for them.
Yes.
Let me look into that. I do not know why off the top of my head, especially if it's being assigned as everyone gets their own copy before you start making changes.
Maybe that's what I'm not doing, because when I don't ever say everyone gets their own copy. I think I'm posting it in Google Classroom, and then
Oh,
I'm prompting the students to make a copy. I'll put that in the instructions, like make your own
okay.
copy. And they do make their own copy, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just opening it up in
They might
Cam.
be just
I
opening your version.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I think that's what they're doing.
Okay,
They
try that.
didn't
If
make
it
a
doesn't
copy.
work though, please let me know. I would be
Okay.
happy to look more into it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then, Maria, can you show again how you got to the templates? Yes, of course I can. So if you are on kind of the Cami homepage, and if you're ever in something and you're like, oh, but I see a document, how do I get there? If you click this little word Cami right here, it'll take you back to the homepage. And then I just clicked right here on Browse Templates. If that does not answer your question, please let me know, either unmute or in chat. Okay, good. And since I moved that timer, we still have about 2 more minutes in our explore time. So any questions, let me know, please.
I have a question. So I just tried opening a Google Doc, or I did just open a Google Doc in Cami, and it's just text, so it's just a sentence. But I'm not really getting any options to do. So basically, if I'm opening something from Google Doc, is it opening it then as a PDF in Cami? Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So you have to have the document created. You never create a document in Cami. So you always upload a document?
No, you totally can start from a blank page.
Okay.
So you can do all these options, and they have tons. They constantly add things. But you can start from just a blank piece of paper. How big do you want it? Do you want it to be portrait or landscape? And how many pages do you want it to be? Do you want it to be colors? And then you can just start from scratch, and you can go, okay, I'm going to call this Cami test document. Oops, not documenty. And we're going to add, I don't know, teal. Was this Pentagon? Oh, not two of them. Delete that one. So I'm going to call this over here, and I'm going to say, all right, let's go. Hi guys, here's what I'd like you to do on the document, blah, blah, blah. And so you can just start your document from scratch in here. If you
Okay.
don't feel like making it somewhere else, yeah, you totally can start it here.
Okay.
Good question.
And when I save it, would it be saved as a Cami document, or can it be converted into a Google document?
So it saves as a PDF,
Mm-hmm.
and it will save into your Google Drive Cami Uploads folder. That's this
Okay.
piece right here across the top. If you wanted to change that, you could tell it where you wanted it to live.
Okay.
So you can kind of tell it in Google Drive, but everything will live in Google Drive. It will be in the format though of a PDF.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have awesome questions. Anything else before I kind of leave the getting into playing with Cami? Okay. So we're going to come back over here for a second, and then I'll show you in just a moment kind of how to do the thing. This is probably how I use Cami the most, simply is editing PDFs and signing PDFs. So this is probably the most fantastic tool I have seen. So I don't know about you guys, but if I need to make something for my classroom or has a T-ball team mom this year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out a way to get like how to assign kids what position they're going to play in baseball. I'm not about to go make my own baseball diamond. Heck no, I'm going to search online. Okay, is there some kind of tool already out there? Of course, it's a PDF. And I'm like, that's okay, I got this. So you can take this huge file and cut it down to like the one or two that you want. You can take a file and you can rearrange the pages for it. Or you can take a whole bunch of smaller files and you can put them together into one large PDF. This is definitely like probably my favorite use. So the way we're going to do that is this tool called Split and Merge. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag whatever files we want to this section. And then what it's going to do is it's going to let us play, and then it's going to let us download the new file. So this is here in case you need to access kind of what it looks like. But I want to show you in real time kind of how that works. So if you have joined our Google Classroom and you need a PDF to practice with, there's one here. I think it's a 3-page document that I used last week with my students. So I'm going to, yeah, this will work. Okay, so I'm going to go to Cami and I'm going to go to Split and Merge. When I go here, it's going to tell me drag and drop, or I can open from my computer, from Google Drive, from OneDrive, or from my Cami library. So I'm just going to go into Google Drive because I know it's in here somewhere. And I'm going to say, find me cell, I think I called it this, cell worksheet. There we go. So I'm going to add that one. And then let's say I want to do something else with cells. So I'm just going to start searching my drive. And we'll do this one, intro to cell size. And we'll do one more. So find cell. And we'll do the Cell City project. Okay, so these are all things I found online. I did not make any of these. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be the best cell thing ever. But I'm not super happy with like all these pages. I want to get rid of some of them. So I'm going to go next. And what it does is it pulls up all the files individually. So it has, and notice I'm in split mode right now. That's where it defaults you to. It has page 1, 2, 3 of the cell organelles worksheet I found. It has the one and only page from the limits to cell size activity. And notice this one is actually saved as a PNG. It's a picture I took this morning on my computer to share with my students. And then this one, there's 4 pages, but I don't like their rubric, so I don't want that one. What I can do is I can start rearranging and I can make my own document. And then this, it's very hard to see, but this little 2 arrows pointing opposite directions will let me preview that page. So if I'm like, oh, I don't remember, what is that? Oh yeah, this is the one I want. Okay. So I just hit escape. And then, okay, like what's this one? Oh, that's all the answer options. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, what's this one? Oh, that's an answer key? Okay, yeah. I do not want my students to have that. So I can just delete that page. And then this one, let's see, I just want them to have the chart, but no answers. Okay, so that's fine. The rubric, no, I'm not using that rubric. So, okay, this top row, these 5 pages is exactly what I want. I'm going to rename it Most Awesome Sell Stuff. And then I'm going to say export. I can choose to download to my computer, open it in Kami. So let's say I need to make one little adjustment and I want to change a word. So I'm going to put a new text box, fill it in white, type my new word. I can open directly in Kami. If it's perfect and I just want to save it to Drive, I can. And OneDrive, we don't use that. So I'm just going to let's go open in Kami so we can kind of look and see what it looks like. So remember, I started with 3 things. I kind of rearranged and deleted and smushed together to make this one like Most Awesome Sell resource. And now I'm just opening it up in Kami. So if I wanted to, let's say, alter directions, I could. So this is a lab I gave my students this morning. Cell analogies. Cell functions. So let's say, notice right here, it says match the function cards and memory items by gluing them. If I'm on a computer, I'm probably not going to have them glue. So I might just do a square and I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to click my select tool. I'm going to go here and I'm going to tell it fill it white. And now those directions are gone. I did not have to retype anything. I didn't have to do anything. I just whited out those directions. And then I can just tell my kids what I want them to do. And here's my answer options. So maybe they're going to retype or something. And then here's my analogy stuff. Done. At this point, I can print it. I can assign it to Classroom. I can send a link. I can whatever. But what I wanted you to see is that I took 3 separate documents and smushed them all together, rearranged the order, got rid of the answer key. And I didn't have to do the old school like cut and paste, print out all the PDFs and then go, okay, let's take out that page. Okay, now go run that through the copier. Okay, now, it kind of cut out some steps. That is split mode. So that allows you to split and then rearrange PDFs. If you have 2 things that are already perfectly ready to go and you just want to smush them into one file, you can do what's called merge mode. And in this case, you can just rearrange. You cannot edit, so to speak. Like this is a 4-page document. I can't get rid of page 2. I'm just smushing this whole file with this whole file with this whole file. And then if I were to click export, it gives me one file with all of those put together. Personally, I never ever use merge mode because I'm pretty much always making edits. And so I want to be able to rearrange and to pull out pieces. So I typically always use split and then I just export the thing that I want done. Okay.
I don't know if I missed it, but on the split mode, is there a way to rearrange the pages on there?
Yes.
Because
So
you were
in
dragging and
split
dropping,
mode,
right?
yes. So I can, like, let's say I want the Cell City project to be
Oh, cool.
first.
Okay.
And then if I export, it will save it in this order.
Okay.
So merge, useful, but I don't really ever use it because to me, I'm going to merge it, customize as I'm merging. I'm not just going to smush things together, but you can. If you just wanted to smush files together, you could totally use merge and that would be fine. Let me just go back and make sure I hit all the things I was supposed to hit there. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to pause before we get to text recognition. Anything I can help clarify from split or merge? Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to home. And remember, if you're in something already and you just click on this little Cami icon, if you're here, I believe you just go back to main app. But anytime you click on the word Cami, it should take you back home. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start text recognition. As a fair warning, this can take a very, very long time if it's a large file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to find what document do I want it to read my text for. And I'm just going to use that same 3-page, this one. So when you upload a document into Cami, before you run text recognition, it uploads it as if it just took a picture. Nothing is interactive. Nothing is clickable. It's just like a blank slate kind of. When you run text recognition, what it does is it actually pulls out the individual letters and it now becomes kind of this 3D thing that you can actually click on words and you can have it read text out loud and you can have it do the dictionary and you can highlight by individual words. So all I did so far is if I'm at home, I clicked text recognition and then I clicked Google Drive and I uploaded the thing I want to run text recognition on. Notice it says OCR. It used to be optical character recognition. It says it can take a long time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. So I'm going to open in Cami. You can just download or save to drive or whatever. But the really cool thing is when you run text recognition, your document kind of becomes alive for whoever's looking at it. So if I'm going to have my students highlight the thing that, I don't know, was the most confusing, they can go text highlighter and they can be like, what the heck is a lysosome? That does not make any sense to me. I don't understand. Before text recognition, you could only have done freehand like this, which works just fine. Or you could have done box, which again is kind of that drawing a box around something. The cooler pieces, I think, are in dictionary. So let's see. Oh, not everything, Cami. Calm down. If I just highlight mitochondria, it tells me it's an organelle found in large numbers in most cells, which the biochemical processes, respiration, blah, blah, blah. If your kids are like, what? Or you're adults, you can actually have it read out the definition to you. So it will read you what is a mitochondria. What else it will do is it can actually read aloud this entire document. So if I were to click play, right now it's reading me the website where I found this. Okay, so it's reading me the name. And it's saying underscore because that's how it was put in here. Okay, so it highlights what it's reading. And it sounds a little robotic, but what you can do is you can actually go in and you can change the voice. So you can look around and see what works for you, what works for your students. You can change the speed, you can change the pitch. And then the beautiful thing is Cami will save this so your students can customize or your staff can customize. How do you want it to sound when it reads things to you? So this, I think, is probably the coolest thing about text recognition. It went from a picture of this document that I put into Cami that, yeah, I can like add a white text box over it to hide the directions. But now it'll actually read to me. The one catch with this text recognition is it will read everything if you just click play. So it started reading this to me at first, like where I got the information. And if I were to go in and I were to edit this document and I were to do the same thing like I did before and I like cover up the directions, it doesn't know that I tried to get rid of the directions. All it's going to do is read something that the kids can't really see. So it'll still read whatever's under the red box. So if you are running into like it's just reading random things, what you can do is you can highlight and then you can click play and it will just read that highlighted piece. So that might be a little more user friendly. Highlight what you want it to read and then click play and it will read it out loud to you.